I hear this from my patient over and over again. They say, "Doctor, I love your work. And when I did my research, I saw so many before and after pictures that look amazing. But how come there's so many bad facelifts out there?" And this is the question that I'd like to address in this video. So if you are planning to get a facelift, listen up. Hi, I'm Dr. Konstantin. I'm a facial plastic surgeon and New York-based facelift expert. And today I'd love to talk to you about how to avoid getting a bad facelift. And I see this over and over again when people come to me when they had a facelift done somewhere else and they're just not happy with their results. And there are three basic reasons that I found over the years why people get the procedures that they are not so happy with. Number one, they get it done with the wrong doctor. Number two, they get it done in the wrong place. And number three, they get the wrong procedure. Now, let's go into a little bit more detail on that. Number one, if you're considering getting a facelift, you should really put your time into research and find a doctor who specializes in facelifts. And it doesn't have to be a doctor that's been in practice for many, many years. It could be somebody who's just starting out, but you have to make sure that they receive extensive training specifically in facelift, not necessarily in some other procedures. Because of course, as you know, practice makes perfect. So when somebody does facelifts all the time and they were very well trained in facelifts, the procedure is going to come out looking much better than when somebody just does it occasionally. And another situation, and I see this all the time, people say, "Oh, I got my facelift with the doctor who did my sister's breasts and he did my mother-in-law tummy tuck, and they all were so happy with their results, and I got a facelift with that doctor and I'm just not pleased with how it came out." Very common situation. If the doctor specializes in one procedure and he's very good or she's very good at that procedure, doesn't mean that they're good at all the cosmetic procedures. So you need to select somebody who is very good specifically at facelifts if you're considering a facelift, of course. Number two, getting a facelift done in the wrong place can definitely backfire. Medical tourism is very popular. People travel to other countries, whether because they want to save money or they just feel maybe getting your facelift somewhere else is gonna make it better. But times and over again, I see people who got their faces done maybe in Asia, Thailand, Korea, Colombia, all of those destinations are very popular, and they come back extremely unhappy with the results. And the reason for it is that you don't have quite as much control over what happens in another country as much as you have it here in the United States. So you assume that the standards are the same everywhere, but from my experience, it's not exactly true. I see so many times when those clinics that specialize in facelifts in some other countries, they just use somebody else's before and after pictures. In fact, my before and after pictures are used in some of those clinics as well, and there is really no recourse. There's nobody I can go to and complain about that. So when you signing up for your procedure somewhere abroad, you have to absolutely 100% make sure that everything that they put on their website is accurate and that the standards of surgery in that country are just as high as you would receive here in the United States. Because if you are not happy with your results and things don't look right, what you're gonna do if your surgery was done in another country? Just going back there not necessarily will help the problem. Not necessarily the doctors there will be interested in fixing it for you. So be very careful with selecting where you get your surgery done. Number three, getting the wrong procedure. Everybody is on social media. People do a lot of research on Google, and I highly encourage everybody to do that. But you really cannot extrapolate that the procedure that worked well for somebody else is going to work just as well for you, because you can have a completely different facial structure, and any professional who looks at you would immediately be able to tell, no, this is not going to work for you. You need something else. But I've seen so many people 100% convinced that they want a particular type of surgery or particular type of a facelift, and they just go interviewing different surgeons, and if somebody tells them no, this wouldn't really work for you, they just go to another surgeon and another surgeon until they find somebody who says, okay, fine, if you feel so strongly about it, I will do this for you. And then they just end up being disappointed because this particular facelift type was not meant for them. It was meant for somebody with completely different facial type. So you have to trust the professional, and of course you have to express your concerns and you have to tell the doctor what are you trying to achieve. But please make sure that you give the doctor the benefit of the doubt, because they are the experts and they will recommend the best procedure for you. Now, just a little bonus track. I told you 3 things that you really should not do when you're considering a facelift. Now, let me just add a little bit of something. What you actually should do when considering a facelift. How do you select a surgeon? How do you select somebody who's really going to be good for you, who's experienced, and who's going to do a good job? Now, there are many factors here, of course, but the most important factor is before and after pictures of that doctor. If you look at those photographs and you say, well, that looks pretty good and I can see myself being very happy if I get this kind of results, then definitely you should consider that doctor very seriously. Or if alternatively, if you look at those pictures and I see, well, no, it's kind of looked a little too pulled, too stretched, or results are not good enough, then you should keep looking until you find somebody that you are happy with.